Can you believe it's almost been 9 months since the first season of Carmen Sandiego aired? For longtime fans of the channel, you may remember that I did a pre-release review of the show way back then. I was only able to get access to the first few episodes, but it seemed very promising, and by the end of the first season, I was definitely hooked. I had no idea just how intense and mature the show could be. And now, here we are, with season 2 on its way, and Netflix was kind enough to grant me early access to every episode this season so that I could tell you if it's worth the watch. Hint, it very much is. In fact, not only do we once again get to see almost all the characters from the first season, but the story goes deeper as we learn about the past of many favorite characters and how their actions made them who they are today. I'm Hailey from Cartooniverse, and here's my review on the second season of Carmen Sandiego. Let's get some obvious things out of the way first. The animation and art style, as can be seen from the trailer, is exactly the same as before. This is very much a good thing, as I love the look of the show and it may in fact be my favorite art style ever. There are a lot of low-budget animated series out there that struggle to find a style to balance out their limits, but Carmen Sandiego does an amazing job with it. Just like with Season 1, every new character is beautifully designed, and even background characters without speaking roles look almost as intriguing as any of the main ones. And let me just say, there are a lot of new characters. As Shadow-san has left Vile and joined forces with Carmen in the gang, there is a leader position open at Vile, the evil organization that steals valuable goods from around the world. Season 2 showcases many of the contenders for this role attempting to capture Carmen Sandiego to prove their worth. Almost every episode follows a villain using their own unique strategy to capture Carmen Sandiego, with each episode taking place in a new country, just like in Season 1. But that's not to say that each episode is just Country of the Week. Every episode is tightly connected to the last, as things pick up almost immediately where the previous season ended, all leading to an amazing finale where huge twists are revealed. And as mentioned before, get ready for a lot of backstories. We learn not only about Shadow-san and Carmen, but also about how Zack and Ivy teamed up with this anti-hero, which was something I was super curious about since it was not explained in Season 1. And I really love the relationship between these two. It's always refreshing to see siblings work together so well, and both of them really had their time to shine this season. Specifically for Zack, we learn about an old rivalry that comes to play a huge part of the season. And while I wasn't the biggest fan of him in the first batch of episodes, this season made me like him a lot more. I was happy to learn more about the characters I mentioned prior, but sadly other characters seemed left out. While we do see almost all of them again, there's a lot more that could be learned about them. In particular, the former Vile students and now enemies of Carmen don't get as much time to interact with each other as they did in the first season, which is a shame. Like I said, there are many new villains this time around, so I do understand, but that is probably the biggest weakness of this season. I'm hoping these characters will get a stronger focus in Season 3, which makes a lot of sense considering how they leave off some of the character stories in Season 2, particularly with Gray. He was one of my favorite characters from the first season, and him losing his memory gives so much potential for him to, in some ways, redo his relationship with Carmen. Two characters who did get some nice focus this season are Julia and Chase. Julia is working on becoming an Acme agent, while Chase has to deal with rejoining Interpol after getting severely injured. Chase was definitely not my favorite character in the first season. Actually, I found him quite annoying since he would never listen to Julia. But now that he is on his own, I found him entertaining as he still tries to track down the elusive Femme Rouge. They both have their ties to the chief, who also gets a lot of great focus this season. A big complaint I saw in Season 1 was how the various countries were portrayed in the show. Specifically, people native to the various countries shown pointed out how depictions of the country were sometimes just flat out wrong. This is honestly a huge bummer to see, as this of all shows should be the one relaying accurate information. I'm not personally knowledgeable about these various countries, both in Season 1 and Season 2. Like, even with San Francisco, I don't know it well enough to say that they got anything wrong, so I cannot say if the information is any more accurate than before. But at least in Season 2, it features a lot more locals speaking their native language, even if just for a few lines, and they magically also know how to speak English. When player does give his little tangent on the country of the day, it still feels a bit unnatural, unfortunately. But one thing we need to remember is that the show is meant for kids ages 6 to 11, with the intent of being educational, even if the sophistication of the writing gives the impression that this is for an older audience. It is just unfortunate that these segments stand out and don't flow with the rest of the story, but at least this time around other characters poke fun at player for this. Thankfully, that's pretty much the only time the show feels like it's for very young children. The storytelling is tightly written, with shocking twists and turns that legitimately made me gasp. This is especially true when it concerns Carmen's past, which is the driving force throughout the season. She's willing to go to great lengths to learn the truth of her origins, even if it means putting her life in danger. If you thought Season 1's finale was good with the reveal that it was Shadow-san that actually found Carmen 20 years ago, just wait until you see what Season 2 has in store. And what I just mentioned is only scratching the surface of what we see in this 10-episode season. These episodes gave me almost everything I wanted, and more. If it's not already obvious, I loved this season. But it is clear that there is so much more that could be explored in the show, meaning we need to help get this show get more episodes. So far, only 20 episodes were ordered by Netflix, and when Season 2 airs, that order will be fulfilled. I definitely do not want to see another good show on Netflix get cancelled, so spread the word to watch this amazing show. I am certain everyone that loved Season 1 will also love this season, and even fans of the original show and game will see that this take on the character is done extremely well, even if it's not what they remember from their childhood. If you enjoyed this review, feel free to take a look at my other ones, and make sure to subscribe to the channel to get notified about any future reviews and other cartoon videos. Once you have seen the season, make sure to tell me what you thought about it by adding a comment in the section below. I also posted a script for this video early on the Cartoon Universe Patreon. Patrons of any level got this early look, so if you want these perks and more, become a patron today. I'm really excited to hear others' thoughts and their theories about what may come next. Carmen Sandiego Season 2 comes out on October 1st on Netflix. Have an animated day!